Have you ever felt trapped in a story that wasn't truly yours, when everyone smiles, but your heart just wants to scream? Today, we'll practice listening, reading, and speaking English through a rainy wedding story in Denmark. Rainy wedding morning. Imagine waking up in Denmark on the day that is supposed to be the happiest of your life. The alarm rings. The birds outside are silent. And instead of golden sunshine pouring into your room, you hear the stubborn drumming of rain against the window. Each drop feels like a tiny reminder that not everything goes according to plan. You pull the blanket closer, wishing the sky would clear, but deep down, you know the weather is not the only storm today. Your mind begins to wander. In Denmark, rain is normal, even romantic. People say, rain on your wedding day means good luck. But your chest feels heavy. It's not about the weather, it's about the truth you have been avoiding. The truth that whispers, is this really the life you want? As you sit up in bed, the sound of the rain grows louder, almost like it's asking the same question over and over. Science actually backs this feeling. Did you know that gray skies can lower serotonin, the chemical in your brain that keeps you feeling steady and bright? No wonder your thoughts feel heavier than your wedding dress waiting on the chair. You are supposed to smile today, but instead, your body reacts like it is carrying a secret no one else can see. Your hands tremble slightly. Your heart beats faster than the rain outside. You glance at the mirror. The woman staring back at you is dressed in morning pajamas, but she already looks tired, as if she's been pretending for months. Denmark is known for honesty. People here value speaking the truth directly. But somehow, your life has turned into an opposite story. The day everyone expects you to be the happiest, you feel like a stranger in your own skin. The rain keeps falling. The morning keeps ticking. And yet, you sit there, wondering whether stepping into the wedding will be like stepping into a cage, or perhaps a stage where the world claps, but your heart stays silent. The heavy dress. The dress waits for you like a silent judge. White, long, heavy, perfect in every way except the way it feels on your skin. As your fingers trace the fabric, it almost feels alive, as if it's breathing down your neck, asking whether you're ready for a performance, not a marriage. When you finally slip into it, the weight presses down, reminding you that this is more than lace and silk. It's a symbol, a choice, a commitment carved into fabric. Think about it. Clothes can change the way you feel. Psychologists call it enclothed cognition, a fancy way of saying what you wear can shape your emotions and actions. A lab coat can make you feel smarter. Pajamas can make you feel lazy. And a wedding dress? It can make you feel like you're stepping into a role society wrote for you. Except, in your case, the role feels miscast. Your mother adjusts the veil and says, "You look beautiful." Friends smile, snapping pictures as if beauty equals happiness. But deep inside, the dress doesn't say beautiful. It says burdened. It clings to you like a question. Are you walking into love, or are you just walking into tradition? In Denmark, weddings are often simple, personal, intimate. People value authenticity more than show. But as you stand there, the mirror reflects a contradiction. You look like every bride in a fairy tale, yet you feel like an actress rehearsing lines she never chose. The dress tightens around your chest, and you wonder, are you suffocating because of the fabric, or because of the truth pressing down from the inside? The rain outside continues its steady rhythm, as if keeping time with your heartbeat. You take a deep breath, trying to convince yourself, this is normal. Every bride feels nervous. But your body knows better. This isn't just nerves. It's a signal. A quiet alarm ringing beneath the silk and pearls, telling you that something is deeply off, and as you adjust the dress once more, you realize, it isn't the gown that's heavy. It's the silence of your own unspoken truth. The lonely walk. The car door shuts behind you with a dull thud, and suddenly, the world outside feels colder than you expected. The driver offers a polite smile, but you barely notice. The rain is relentless, streaking across the windows like messy brushstrokes, blurring the city of Copenhagen into gray watercolor. Each drop on the glass echoes the weight in your chest that you're supposed to feel accompanied today. Family, friends, and an entire community waiting for you at the church. Yet, inside this car, you feel astonishingly alone. It's a strange paradox, surrounded by love, but starved of connection. Loneliness doesn't always mean being physically by yourself. Sometimes, it means sitting beside someone you're supposed to love, but your heart refuses to beat in sync with theirs. Neuroscientists have a term for this: social pain. Your brain literally registers emotional disconnection in the same way it registers physical injury. That's why your stomach knots and your throat tightens as the car rolls toward the church. To your nervous system, it feels like bruises forming under invisible blows. You're not weak. You're just wired to crave truth the same way you crave oxygen. As the car slows at a traffic light, you glance out. A couple walks under one umbrella, laughing as rain soaks their shoes. Their joy is simple, almost careless. For a fleeting second, you ache, not for the umbrella, not for dry feet, but for that effortless togetherness. You wonder, will I ever have that kind of laughter? Or am I about to trade it for a lifetime of polite silence? The church spire rises in the distance, sharp against the cloudy sky. The driver says, "We're almost there," but the words feel heavier than the dress on your shoulders. Almost there to what? A celebration? Or a ceremony that cements the quiet emptiness you already feel? The rain doesn't let up. It drums on the roof, steady and unkind, like a truth you can't unhear. You're not walking into happiness. You're walking into a storm no umbrella can fix. Whispers of doubt. Inside the church, the air smells of wet wood and flowers that are trying too hard to be cheerful. Guests turn their heads, their whispers rising like a soft chorus. At first, you think they're only admiring your dress, but then you catch fragments of words. She looks nervous. Maybe it's just the rain. Every bride feels this way. Their voices wrap around you like threads of expectation, pulling you toward the altar whether you want to move or not. Your best friend squeezes your hand and whispers, "It will be okay. Just breathe." Someone else leans in with a smile, "Marriage is about compromise. You'll learn to love him more." The words are well-meaning, but they sound like tiny bandages being pressed onto a wound much deeper than anyone realizes. They're encouraging you to perform, not to feel. Psychologists call this pluralistic ignorance. Everyone assumes the group knows what's right, so individuals silence their doubts. You feel it now, how the collective energy insists on happiness, while your private truth drowns under the noise. It's easier for them to cheer you forward than to pause and ask, "Are you sure?" In Denmark, honesty is considered a form of respect. People prefer blunt truths over polite lies. And yet, in this moment, the people closest to you can't see your truth. Or maybe they choose not to. They want the fairy tale more than they want your reality. You try to smile, but it's stiff, like porcelain cracking under pressure. The veil blurs your vision, and suddenly the whispers no longer sound supportive. They sound like chains, each voice tightening the lock around your decision. You nod, you walk, you pretend. But the louder they whisper, the louder your inner voice becomes, begging you to stop pretending. The rain outside hammers against the stained glass windows, almost drowning their words. You secretly hope the storm breaks the silence, because deep down, you know the rain is more honest than the people smiling at you now. The ceremony begins. The organ plays its slow, solemn notes, and the whole church rises as you take the final steps toward the altar. The sound is grand, but inside your chest, there's only silence. You see the groom waiting with a proud smile, and yet when your eyes meet, there's no spark, no fire, just the sensation of reading lines in a script someone else wrote for you. The priest begins to speak, his voice deep and steady, echoing through the high wooden beams. Words about love, unity, and forever fill the room, and the guests nod along as if they're hearing the truth. But to you, the words sound foreign, like a language you once studied but never mastered. You can repeat them, yes, but do you believe them? Here's the strange part. Your brain is excellent at faking it. Neuroscience calls it automatic processing, when you perform actions without conscious belief, just to keep the social machine running smoothly. It's like smiling at a joke you don't find funny, or clapping for a speech that bored you. Except this time, the stakes aren't small talk. The stakes are your entire future. You repeat the vows slowly, the way students repeat English phrases in class, careful pronunciation, but no real connection to the meaning. To love and to cherish, your lips form the words, but your heart stays mute. Around you, cameras flash, capturing the scene as if happiness can be proven by photographs. In Denmark, traditions often balance simplicity with sincerity. Couples choose personal vows, private moments, authenticity. But here, you feel none of that. You feel like an actress in a grand play, applauded by an audience who desperately wants a happy ending. Your smile tightens again. You feel the dress tug at your shoulders, the veil itch against your forehead, the air grow thicker with every holy word. The ceremony continues, but inside, you wonder, if love is the foundation, why do you feel like you're standing on sand? The music swells. The guests beam. And still, your soul whispers the one thing no one else dares to say, this isn't me. The inner storm. The choir begins to sing, their voices rising toward the ceiling, filling the church with beauty that almost hurts. Everyone else seems moved, but inside you, a different music plays, loud, chaotic, impossible to ignore. Your thoughts hammer at you like the rain against the windows. Am I choosing the comfort of lies, or the loneliness of truth? It's not an easy question. Psychologists say the human brain is wired to avoid pain, even if that pain is emotional. That's why people stay in jobs they hate, in routines that drain them, and yes, in relationships that no longer fit. The brain confuses comfort with safety. But here's the irony. By choosing comfort, you sometimes choose a slower kind of suffering, the kind that steals your joy piece by piece. You glance at the groom again. He looks calm, steady, maybe even happy. And that makes the storm inside you worse. He deserves someone who truly loves him, not someone rehearsing love like a foreign phrase. You feel guilty, selfish, but also trapped. If you say nothing, you betray yourself. If you say something, you break his world in front of everyone. The organ swells. The priest speaks of eternity. The word hits you like a thunderclap. Eternity? You can't even imagine surviving the next hour without feeling like an imposter. Your hands tremble, and you press them together to hide the shaking. Denmark values honesty, but honesty here would sound like betrayal. So you stand, frozen, letting the ceremony unfold. The inner storm has no outlet. You smile, you nod, but the tempest behind your ribs grows louder. Every note of the choir is a reminder that your silence is a cage, and yet, a small spark of courage flickers. Maybe storms aren't meant to be hidden. Maybe they're meant to break something open. A pause in the rain. The ceremony edges toward its climax. Guests lean forward, waiting for the kiss that will seal everything. Your heart pounds louder than the organ. You feel like you're standing on a cliff, pretending not to notice the drop beneath your feet. Then, almost like a miracle, the sound changes. The drumming rain that has been constant all day stops. You glance sideways at the stained glass windows. For the first time, no water blurs the colors. A soft light filters through, fragile and real. You take it as a sign, though you're not sure of what. Sometimes the world seems to pause, as if it wants you to hear your own heartbeat without interference. And in this moment, your heartbeat is deafening. Scientists call this the orienting response, when your brain suddenly tunes out everything else to focus on a single stimulus. For you, it's the silence. The absence of rain feels louder than the music, louder than the whispers, louder than the priest's voice. It's a pocket of clarity carved out from chaos, and it terrifies you with its honesty. You step slightly back from the altar, just enough to feel the cool draft sneaking in through the old church doors. It brushes your skin and reminds you that you're alive, not a doll, not a performer. The guests don't notice, but inside, you feel the earth tilt. If the rain can stop for a moment, maybe you can too. Maybe you can pause before sealing a decision that doesn't belong to you. The groom looks at you, puzzled, whispering your name under his breath. His eyes are kind, but they don't reach the locked door of your heart. The silence stretches, heavy, unspoken. And for the first time all day, you realize, the pause isn't outside. It's inside you. A crack in the performance. A chance to choose. Alone or together. The pause lingers like a held breath. Everyone in the church waits, unaware that inside you, an entire lifetime balances on the edge of one choice. To go forward means applause, smiles, photographs, and the comfort of belonging. But it also means carrying a secret ache every day, sharing a home, a bed, a future, all built on words your heart never meant. To step away means silence, confusion, maybe even shame. But it also means freedom, the raw, terrifying kind that comes from living your truth. Psychologists describe this moment as cognitive dissonance, the mental agony of holding two conflicting truths. Your body feels it, the racing pulse, the shallow breath, the knot in your stomach. But the science also says something hopeful. When people resolve dissonance by choosing what aligns with their core values, their well-being skyrockets. Painful at first, yes. Liberating in the long run. You look again at the groom. He is kind. He is steady. But kindness is not enough to glue two broken halves together. Marriage is not about avoiding loneliness. It's about sharing joy that feels real. And as you stand there, you finally admit it. Pretending will only make both of you lonelier. The guests lean forward, waiting for the kiss. Instead, you take one step back. Your breath trembles, but your voice doesn't. I can't. The words fall like stones in water, shocking the silence into ripples. Faces freeze. The groom blinks, wounded. And yet, for the first time today, you feel alive. Outside, the rain starts again, soft at first, then steady. But now it doesn't sound like chains. It sounds like cleansing. Like truth washing the air. You step out into it alone, soaked but unburdened, each drop reminding you, better a lonely truth than a shared lie. And for those listening, practicing English with this story, the lesson is simple but unforgettable. Words matter, but only when they are honest. Speak slowly, speak clearly, but above all, speak what is real.